Hello YouTube, and welcome back to W140 Restorations. If you're like me and you own late model Mercedes, you like keeping everything in the rearview mirror as you're barreling down the road. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that in Project Iona because I broke my spare rearview mirror out of a 96 and have the parts and remnants of my 97. So we're going to put all these pieces and parts together for one working rearview mirror for Project Iona. All right, everybody. I think you all well know by now that the plastic in these late model cars is super brittle. Almost 30 years old now. If you have a 94, it is 30 years old. But Iona is a 97, and this is the pieces and parts, the remnants of what was the rear view mirror. Broken when I got it, pretty much taped and glued together. You can go back to some of the first episodes of Project Iona to see just how bad it was. But this is the innards of the rear view mirror. Date coded the 30th week of 1997, which corresponds with the age of the car. You can also see that the circuit and the capacitor on this one is blown out for these self-dimming rear view mirrors, and the result of that is this nice, nasty, brown, tarnished discoloration here on the bottom of the mirror. So had to find a replacement to try to take it all apart and put it back to the way that it's supposed to be. Iona also has Mercedes' original garage door opener system called Homelink in 1996 and 1997. I don't remember actually what year they released it, but the 97 did have the Homelink on it. So you can see these are the remnants for the innards of Iona's original rear view mirror. But while I was waiting to find pieces and parts for the 97, I had previously sourced a 96. And I wanted to show you all the differences between the 96 and the 97. I unfortunately, when I was taking this one out to replace the A-pillar cover, it dropped. And as the plastic is old, it shattered everywhere. And it's really unfortunate because there's some subtle differences between this 96 and the 197. For the 96 specifically, and only that year, it was the only year that had this option, below the rear view mirror, set down this little piece right here. They had green lights on one side and the corresponding little red lights on the other. And when you used your smart remote, red would flash or green would flash depending on whether you're opening it or closing it. So whether it was locked or unlocked and open, these little lights would flash. It was the only year that Mercedes had this on the W140. So these rearview mirrors are even more rare than the pre-facelift ones and the 97 and up ones. So it's a very unfortunate this one broke, but there's a few subtle differences. So be very certain which year your car is and what you need. For the 96, there's a 5-pin and a 2-pin inside the wiring. For all other years, there's only a 5-pin. The reason the 2 extra pins are inside the wiring are for this doohickey right here for the lights, but all of the years there is this 5 and single 1-pin connector in these rearview mirrors. Another difference is this little gasket and the square hole in the bottom of the plastic housing where this bottom piece would actually come out and connect. All the other years have this smooth bottom with the Homelink system. So again, very unfortunate that I dropped this and broke it because if I ever get a future 96, I won't have another one of these. So you can see this one, 36th week of 1995, and this mirror is still good with the sensor for the self-dimming rear view mirror. and that's what pretty much went bad in this one for the 97. So we need to go ahead and start working on putting Humpty Dumpty back together again to make sure I've got a working one for Project Iona. Alright guys, we're relegated back to the W140 restoration garage, and I kind of got ahead of myself and put the mirror assembly together, but I want to show you all how I got here from the pieces and parts that I have from some of the broken and leftover rear view mirrors that I have. So this is the good mirror, and what you need to do if you're putting some of these back together, the mirror rests inside the housing, and then there's two of these metallic clips, and there's this notch here, and the clips sit right on top of the notch. And when those clips sit on the notch, they're spring loaded and they hold the mirror very, very tight to the frame that it goes in. And that's the portion that I missed videotaping that I need to show you all. If you see here, I have one good plastic frame, and I don't want to break it, but I will share and show that to get this in here, you have to pull these two tabs apart and then slide the tab under. And there's a lot of tension on these metal tabs underneath these four clips that hold it together and keep the tension on this mirror to keep it intact in the frame. So we've done that. We know that the circuit board looks good, nothing looks burnt out, and we've got that assembly. Now it's sandwiched together with the back half, and there's a few parts to this. This one has Homelink in it, and there's a little clear piece of plastic that is the illuminator that shows you when you're using the Homelink, it will flash and give you that visual indication that it's working. There's also the 3 buttons for the Homelink, but on the bottom of the Homelink box itself, there's this little LED, and that LED corresponds with this plastic piece. So, gotta put it all together at the same time, making sure that it's all aligned, because we kind of really get one shot at this. This one has these little plastic tabs on the back end that snap in, and you see there's only one remaining. So as this one has been taken off and put back on, so we don't have a lot of wiggle room, as it were. We got some 3M double-sided tape on here. This originally had double-sided tape on the mirror, and we want to make sure that it doesn't rattle around inside of Iona once we get it back together. So this is more of an alignment at this point in time for where it needs to go. On the mirror. There's 3M double-sided tape. We're just going to hold it on there for a little bit. Make sure it's set. Make sure our wire's in the correct spot. Then we're going to go ahead and put all these pieces back together, and there's the very, very small little clear piece that goes next to the Homelink buttons. And it's actually held in place by the Homelink nubs itself. Oh, there's one and there's two. And guys, that's the best it's gonna get for right now. We're gonna see if it wants to stay together. If not, we may use some other double-sided tape magic to hold it together. But that is your rear view mirror assembly for a W140 Mercedes-Benz. All right, guys, so you know these cars are over-engineered. We all, I believe, appreciate that and love them for being over-engineered, but this is one of the most insane parts that you're gonna find in a mid-90s Mercedes, is this right here. These springs and how the rear view mirrors actually go in one of these cars. There are two little machined nubs that go up into and snap in the headliner assembly that hold the rear view mirror in. This one on a 95 or 7, this one definitely from a 96. They're the same. You can see that these springs, and I'm talking no slouch, they are almost impossible to compress. To get these out, literally a screwdriver or some sort of thin pry bar to get these bad boys out, because once they are in there, they do not want to come out. So yeah, you have to basically snap these in place, and I'll show you a picture of the inside of Iona to see exactly what it looks like. But once you get the assembly together, again, pretty much one shot of snapping these in there. It's going to take a lot of force. There's a plastic plate that goes over this, and I'll grab one and show you. Once it's installed, that goes in and covers this assembly up. But you really have one shot at mashing this bad boy up in the headliner between the A-pillars to get this in, and that spring is just ridiculous. So I wanted to show you that. It's how you get them out, is to pry them down once these nubs fall out of the receiver or the receptacle. But yeah, let's go ahead and show you what it looks like inside the car. All right, guys, it's really bright in here on purpose. So Iona has the Bose system, so we've got the center speaker up behind the rear view mirror. When I put this in, there's 3 Phillips head screws that holds this in, and all the wiring is hooked up. But what I want to show you are these nubs right here. This is where the rear view mirror goes and slips past these smooth little tabs right here, and once those big springs and little tabs spring and split apart, the whole thing is a big compression fitting up in here. So when we're putting it in, we have to get it past these 2 nubs, and when you're taking it out, generally a screwdriver to pry the whole thing out. So if you're going to do that, I recommend taking the center light console out as it pulls out, and then putting your screwdrivers behind here on either side to try and pry down the rear view mirror. Make sure you hold on to it, don't drop it and break them like I did. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in and wire it back up, and that'll be almost it for the rear view mirror for Project Iona. All right, everybody, we are back in Iona. We've got our completed rear view mirror assembly with our Homelink. The buttons are all positive. They do their little click, click, click thing. And what we're gonna do is I put a little bit of oil right on the tips, and we're gonna route our wire through, and we're going to hold it up, and we're gonna mash it in there with our brute strength. Oh my goodness. I wasn't kidding about those springs being no joke, guys. They are terribly strong. You can't push against the plastic, you can't push against the housing. You can literally, there's room for like 2 fingers in there to try and get it in. And you don't want to drop it. You really don't want to hit it. What you want to do is finesse it. Whew, and I might be all out of finesse today. Like I told you, it's one of the most persnickety parts of the car. Well, everybody, it turns out the way to get it on is to use a dead blow hammer and smack it. That seemed to work, but the back fell off. We found our clear piece for the illuminator for the LED in the Homelink. Gonna reinstall our little button covers and put this back on and snap it into place. And there is our rear view mirror. Now there is room for this wire loom. Now we're going to try to push as much of it back as we can and then connect or reconnect this piece and get out of the way so y'all can see that. So the connection fits back in this housing. It's got a weird octagonal size to it, and it slides and fits back in there just like that. And let's get our plastic vanity cover piece that clips up in here, and that'll complete the assembly. All right, last piece. There's our little vanity part, and it slides in. This notch goes in, and then up, and that should be it for the vanity piece. All right, guys, took a little bit of persuasion, but we got it in there. So that is our rear view mirror assembly. We got it snapped into place. We got it wired up. We got to see what it's going to look like when the car's turned on for the Homelink, if we're going to get our little LED to light up. But we're going to test that here in a second. So everyone, thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone who subscribed to the channel. Please leave me a comment. I love reading everything that y'all send me for W140 restorations. That'll do it for this episode. A lot more to do for Project Iona. Getting new tires. I picked up some S500 wheels. Might put those on here as well. I have to do the brakes. That's been long overdue. So she's due for tires, brakes. Just did an oil change. So general maintenance stuff. But we'll see that on the next episode of W140 Restorations. Bye, everybody. Start over again. I'm just gonna delete this. I should do a reel of all the times I mess up. It'd be a lot. I'm gonna do a highlight reel of every time I mess up. It's like 1,000,000 hours.